I feel like I should start this show with a sigh because every time I have to deal with this guy, I just feel like sighing and face palming over and over. But I finally get to get my revenge. Well, not even revenge because I got to win over him, but I get to see him get tortured when I announce his matchup and possibly see him cry. So today on the podcast, I'm going to have the Sapateiro 205-pound champion, Emil Fischer, on. But before I pull Emil on, we need to shout out the sponsors that pay me because I love these guys. So first and foremost, my company, NogiNation.com. You go to www.nogination.com to get yourself some Fuck the IBJJF rash guards, Star-Lord rash guards, all that fun stuff. And, it's my company. And we've been thinking about making a gi just to be ironic, Make a gi that says fuck the gi on it or something like that. I don't know. So lots of cool stuff happening with NogiNation.com. So make sure you go NogiNation.com, get yourself some shit. Also, we got Liberty Ammunition, www.libertyammo.com, the only defensive round I carry. My favorite sponsor, my buddy's company, Harris Family's company. They're based here out of Bradenton, Florida. Phenomenal firearms, ammunition, and the only thing I will trust my life to. So now that the sponsors are out of the way, let's get this shit show started with Emil Fischer. All right, let's start the shit show. Yep, exactly. How are you, Emil?
Oh, just I'm getting ready for this Bigfoot thing this weekend. I was supposed to do your absolute, but that's off, unfortunately. I understand and respect your reasoning behind it. I'm bummed, but I'm doing the 8-man absolute down in Nashville. Gonna get to hang out with Joey Bear, and I'm actually pretty excited about that. Like that kind of is the for me the silver lining of it.
Yeah, Joe's a cool guy. Joe's actually taking on Chad, another guy for our heavyweight title here.
Yeah, in July.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun match. I'm excited about that. What do you think about that match?
So I've rolled with both. I mean, I've rolled with Chad. I've competed against Joe 3 times. Stylistically, I think it's a super interesting matchup. I think it depends. The winner's going to depend on Chad's familiarity with leg locks. Like, I don't know how familiar Chad is with Joe's leg entanglements and his entries, but those are really fucking hard to stop if you don't, familiarize yourself with them. And I don't know how cerebral Chad's game is, but I watched the episode yesterday that you had with him on, and I really like his mindset. So, if anyone has the mindset that could potentially give Joe some problems, it's going to be Chad.
Yeah, I like that mindset as well, man. That was something we were both talking about. Is they both have a very similar mindset. They don't want this to go to overtime. They want to go after each other and see who fucking is better. So I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, for sure.
So who's in this bracket this weekend that you're competing against?
Elijah Carlton, Drake Renfro. There's this guy, Shabazz, Keon Shabazz. I've never heard of him. There's this guy that trains Peyton something or other that trained at some point under
Arroyo.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. I mean, it's and Adam Fritz. That's the other one.
Yeah. Is it an 8-man bracket?
Yeah, so there's only 6 right now. They're looking for another 2.
Oh, I'll get 2 more in there. So just that alone, whether I like to admit it or not, you're one of the top brown belts in the U.S. We got Elijah Carlton, who's a fucking monster, with wins over Bill Cooper and people he shouldn't be beating, kind of like you. Adam Fritz is one of the best kept secrets in the South and Midwest. And then you said Drake as well, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to mute you when I talk just because you got stuff going on in the background and it is really annoying in my head. But Drake is a monster, man. He trains with Joe as well. And he was actually in my Sapateiro 185 division. And I think it was the 185 division. He won his first match and then lost his second, I think, to Jason Rao. But Drake's really good, man. What do you think about the bracket?
Yeah.
So what do you think about the bracket?
Yeah. Okay. So you have me unmuted. Yeah. So I think that it's a good bracket. I think that depends on like how, number one, who the other two people are going to be. Like I feel like that's going to kind of determine the flow of it, and also the way that they set things up. I know that Elijah asked to be across the bracket for me so we could beat in the finals, assuming we both make it there. Which honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't know how these guys have been training. I know I just kind of started training more seriously for the absolute, but that when that was canceled, I shifted my focus to this because it's a different rule set. It's like almost like a ADCC style 5-minute sub only, and then 2 minutes of points, followed by ref's decision. So it's a different rule set than I like to compete under. I prefer the EBI rules, but I'm not going to bitch about the rules. I mean, I know them going in. But
you're just going to bitch about them after.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to bitch about them after. I might like in my head think that that's why I lost, which, you know, shit, if I don't get subbed, it is what it is. But yeah, I think that the favorites to win the tournament are going to be me, Elijah, Fritz, and Drake in no particular order.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All four of you guys are pretty goddamn good.
Now, Elijah's beaten Fritz before, and he's beaten Drake like twice or 3 times.
Yeah. So, I mean, like on paper, it would probably come down to you and Elijah. And Elijah's been getting big, man. Like, he's getting turned into
that could be a good thing or a bad thing for him. I do better against bigger guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting because I know if Elijah keeps his flexibility and his speed at a bigger weight, he's going to be a problem for people because of his frame, you know? Like, he's as tall as you, maybe a little bit taller, but he was always like 160, 170 pounds, you know? But now he's like 200 pounds of some kind of testosterone, and it's fucking scary.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really let that bother me too much. Like I've never lost a match because the guy was bigger. It's never happened. I've gone against some big fuckers. I've never lost a match because the guy was bigger. I lost because the guy used his size really well as a weapon. Like, I've lost because of that. But it's like a lot of people are like, oh, he just beat me because he was bigger. And maybe that's true for some people. For me, it's always been maybe he just was fucking gummy and like just kind of like dragged me in and was really good at avoiding my shit, right? That's a possibility. And I've lost like that. But I've never lost because the guy was bigger.
Interesting. So you were talking about how your training has been kind of picking up again. What's it been like during this whole quarantine and COVID situation, trying to get your training in?
So most of my training was like solo stuff. Like, I'd go on runs, and you know, I would try to teach my wife some things, which is tough. We talked about that actually the first time you had me on here. And I did a couple like videos on Rockfin, teaching her some basics. I have a couple of students that like live rurally together. They're roommates. John Varro and Caitlin Burns, both of whom I think if they like stick with this and they take it seriously, could be a really big problem in the near future. They're both like young blue belts who give me a fucking hard time. Like, Caitlin's 120 pounds of just mean fuck. And like anytime I train with her, I'm fighting for my life. And she's a 120-pound woman. And I can be going 100% and it's still fucking tough. And John reminds me a lot of you. In a good way, like as far as like his positive attributes on the mat, like the way he goes for his feet, the way he just kind of understands how to break a person's foot. I mean, if he gets a handle on other aspects of the game other than the leg lock game, he's going to be a nightmare matchup for anybody. He actually might be competing in this thing this weekend. Both of them might be, actually.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, because I know Bigfoot runs multiple brackets and stuff like that. It's one of the things I really enjoy about their shows is they have their main attraction bracket, and then they have some smaller colored belt brackets that are usually pretty fun to watch.
Dude, the purple belt bracket on this is crazy. They got Jacob Couch coming down.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hey, he's good, man. He's
that's
good.
what I'm saying, man. I'm glad I'm not a fucking purple belt.
Yeah, Couch is solid, man. He's getting bigger too. I think he's up there training with the Daisy
Pedigree.
Fresh guys. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. I got to hang out with fuck. I'm trying to remember his name. The guy from Daisy Fresh that was competing at Jits King. Fuck, brown belt wrestler kid. Fuck, he's. I feel like a piece of shit now, but he was cool, man. I like that team up there, the grinding American Jiu-Jitsu style. So it's interesting to see them starting to come into some of these different tournaments, different rule sets. So you got that coming up this weekend. Outside of the Sapateros, what else you got coming up?
So I really want to defend my fight to win title, or I want to start pushing towards either a gi title or an adult no gi title at fight to win. I think that it's time. And I know they're having events in Austin for the rest of the month, or for the beginning of July through I think the middle of July. So I'm looking at flights, because basically the way Seth is doing it, you got to pay for your own travel.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but as long as he's not promising to pay for my travel and then fucking me, I'm good. Like, whatever, it's fine. I'm talking to my sponsors and trying to see if I can scrounge up money. I'm doing a seminar after the tournament I'm doing a seminar on Sunday down in Nashville. Hopefully a bunch of people show up and I can raise some money for the trip. I'm announcing this here first. Joe Bays is going to be jumping in and teaching some techniques at my seminar as well. I'm very excited about that. He reached out to me and was like, hey, if you want me to, I'll do that for you. I was like, man, that's fucking awesome.
So what and where is this seminar?
It's going to be at the Academy at Jason Matherly's gym.
Yep.
12 to 2 on Sunday.
Cool. How much are you charging?
35 in advance, 40 day up.
Sweet. So 12 to 2 the Sunday after the tournament at the Academy. I think that's also the venue of the Bigfoot Invitational as well. Exactly. So all there, same day. That'd be badass. And you're trying to raise that money to get down to Tejas and defend that fight to win Masters no-gi title of yours, right? Do you have anyone that you got an eye on for, to defend that title against?
Dude, honestly, I don't know. Like, it's there was one person that was kind of lightweight calling me out. The guy that beat me at No-Gi Worlds, but Seth thinks that I would beat him too easily in this rule set. I don't the guy fucking worked me at No-Gi Worlds. Like, that's just the truth. Like, he beat the shit out of me there. But I wasn't allowed to go for heel hooks. And I feel like if I'm allowed to go for reaps and heel hooks, it changes my game. But I don't know. Like, that's the one that, off the top of my head, that wants a match with me. That I don't know. But other than that, no. I don't know.
This is the problem, Emil. You don't call your shots, and this is why I'm doing what I'm about to do to you. Because you don't fucking ask for people. So
I did. I asked for all sorts of people that are not the guy that you're about to announce.
Okay,
I asked for all sorts of fucking people. You're full of shit.
You're right. You ask for people who nobody gives a shit about. And nobody cares about you either. So as a promoter, I'm trying to make interesting matches.
No, I appreciate that, but I want the matches that I think are slightly above my pay grade, not like guys that are why even fucking do it? But it is what it is.
So now that we're on this subject, you're going to be taking on Tex Johnson defending your Sapateiro 205 title, and I don't have a date yet. It's either going to be August or September at an undisclosed location, and it's going to be under the EBI rules. Now, what do you think about Tex?
So Tex and I have actually gotten to compete against one another once, and we've gotten to train once, and we've hung out once. We competed against each other at a Grappling Industries summer 2017, New York City. He beat me in about 10 seconds. He pulled butterfly. I went for a sloppy heel hook entry, and he heel hooked me off of my shitty entry, and that was it. So there was that. We rolled at Unity shortly after I won my Fight to Win title back in 2018. And I mean, when I roll at the gym, it's very different from when I'm competing. And when Tex rolls at the gym, it's very similar to when he's competing.
So he beat the shit out of you. Cool.
Oh, he beat the fucking tar out of me. It was awful. And then we hung out after that King of the Mat when he beat Quentin and then got beaten by Kyle Bame.
What tournament is that?
It was that one up here in Cleveland, the one that I got blackballed from.
Wait, what's that tournament's name?
King of the Mat. You know what I'm talking about.
Nah, I've never heard of them. Sorry.
It's the one with Tim Thompson. You know what I'm talking about. The one Tim Thompson ran. The one.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Elijah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on the matchup?
I mean, I think that it's a tough matchup for me. I think that it's a difficult opponent. I think that if I let him get a hold of my leg, I'm going to have a fucking rough day. Dude, like, when you offered me the match against Joe Bays, I felt the same way that I feel right now about this match. That's the honest to God truth. When you offered me my initial title shot against Joe Bays, my impression was the same as it is right now, which is this is not a match that I've earned. It's not a match I deserve. It's not a match I can win. But fuck it, YOLO.
I mean, I think you take the earned one off of this because, I mean, you've been doing well recently. You know, you're a multiple-time Masters Pan Am champion, multiple-time fight-to-win champion. You've been winning some tournaments, you know. You've beaten Joe Bays a few times. You've beaten some good guys, you know, and guys who've done much more impressive things for you. So I think you take off the fact that you didn't earn it. Plus, I mean, you are the champion right now. So
yeah, sure. No, like I'm not trying to downgrade what I've done. I think that, like, there were some names that I threw at you. Yeah, exactly, Brian. There are some names that I threw at you that are, I think, slightly above my level, but that are more appropriate matchups for me that I could, in my head, conceive of beating. I cannot conceive of how I would beat him. However, that has never stopped me from trying, and it's never stopped me from winning. So, you know, it is what it is. Like, I'll give it a shot, and if I win, great. If not, back to the drawing board. Honestly, for me, you know what it comes down to here? I'm grateful that Tex is taking this match. Like, that's the honest to God truth. Like, Tex has much more to lose from this than I do. Like, we could both potentially get hurt. I've hurt people. He's hurt people. We could both potentially, get our reputations affected. But the reality is that Felipe Pena has lost to Tex. Gordon Ryan has lost to Tex. Jackson Souza has lost to Tex. Like, the list of people, Thor lost to Tex. He got straight ankle locked by Tex at the ADCC. Like, the list of people that have lost to him is crazy. So, like, just based off of that alone, I mean, I'm coming into this as the natural underdog. So just based off of that, like, whatever happens, happens. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a lot of tape study. I'm gonna try to map his patterns. Like, that's so the way that I prepared for Joe Bays is the way I'm gonna prepare for this, which is I'm going to watch, like, his body of work that's available on the internet. It's going to take probably about a week. And I'm going to plot a chart with what he wins and how he wins it and on which limb he wins it. Once I've done that, I'm going to assess the likelihood of him getting to each individual position on me. And then I'm going to train for it. Like, it's going to be a tactical battle. And, you know, if the history has shown anything, it's that I don't have to think I'm going to win to win.
That's true. As from a promoting standpoint, this is an easy match to promote because you've both broken people's shit in the past, you know. And as Brian posted in the comment section, Tex, I'll break your shit, Johnson, you know. And we've seen the videos of him snapping baseball bats, and Tex has got a little bit of a wild side to him. And I've been texting him, and it's like, I told him, I'm like, dude, you're like you're a sweetheart, but you're fucking crazy, you know? And he just fucking left. And he's kind of the bad boy of jiu-jitsu, you know? Like, I don't know why the fuck I was labeled that in the Jiu-Jitsu Times article, because it's clearly Tex Johnson, you know? Tex has had some troubles in the past, and he's had some triumphs, you know? And like, I think the craziest thing about Tex is the mindset he takes into a match, you know? And you and I have both seen him pre-match, you know? He's competed for me before. Craig competed against him at Kasai, and I was cornering Craig. And I remember him walking around the back of Kasai, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Tex, how you doing?" And he like grunted at me. He's like, "Grr," and like walked past. And I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, this guy's gonna punch me." And then as soon as the match is over, it's bear hugs, you know? So like Tex has this thing that happens when he goes into competition mode where he's not gonna stop until there's a break, a tap, a scream, and then he's like, oh, he's back to the loving, fun-loving Tex, you know? Yeah. So it's very interesting for me because you have a similar mentality, but not as caveman-like, you know?
I mean, dude, when you see me before a match, my demeanor is the same as after the match.
Yeah, but the demeanor is the same, but the mentality is different because you've said it many times. I'm going to try to break their shit, and they can try to tap, you know? And that's the same mentality that Tex has. So on paper, this match is fireworks, and also on paper, you both have a very similar style. And yours is more unorthodox, but you're trying to get to people's legs. Tex is more of a butterfly guard player, trying to get to people's legs. And it's very interesting because you're both guard players, and you're basically both going to go for that shootout. And it's just a fun matchup because the people that Tex has a problem with are like the Gordon Ryans, the guys who pass open guard very well. And whether you like it or not, that's not something people have seen of you. You know, they've seen you lay on your back, fucking put your donkey hooks in, and break people's shit in half.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and here's where it gets interesting. I know how to pass the guard. It's just not worth my energy in a lot of the matches that I do. Like, you've seen me pass a guard before.
Yeah, I'm not saying you don't know how to pass the guard. I'm just saying it wouldn't be categorized as one of your specialties from your body of work.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And like, for me, it's the reality that I have to figure out a way to win. Like, that's all it is. Like, my coach once told me, like, there was this tournament that we did in it was a good fight tournament. I think you've competed at their tournaments before.
Yep.
And we were trying to get the team trophy. And it was funny, like, at the beginning of the day, our coach kind of like got us together for a pep talk. And he's like, I know some, and I had like a broken rib that day too. And he was like, I don't care what you guys do, find a way to win. Find a way to win. And like, that's always stuck with me ever since then. Like, find a way. There's going to be something that I can do to win this match. It is, in theory, winnable. Everybody has weaknesses that can be mapped. Everybody has things that can be done to them. And I'm going to try to do those things and stuff. We'll see.
It's interesting because win or lose, this puts you up on that upper echelon. You know, as long as you don't go in there and get tapped out in 10 seconds, like you did previously to Tex, this should move you up into the upper B-level competitors, you know? Like, you're not going to be taking on the Gordon Ryans of the world, but the people who compete with them, you should be competing with them as well if this goes well for you. How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel good, man. I mean, honestly, I never expected to be at this point. Like, this was not in the plans for me. This was not what I thought was going to happen when I started competing more seriously. Like, I always thought that I was just going to be like, you know, a B-level, C-level, D-level guy at my belt, you know? And it was never in my head, oh, one day I'm going to have a super fight against one of the best on the planet. Like, and then I had the super fight against one of the best on the planet, Joe Bays, and I was able to get the victory. And I wrote that off as a fluke, honestly. Like I wrote that match off. It was like, oh, I just caught him in the transition. And then I was able to get a couple of more wins over him. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, at the very least, I'm in this class of competitor. You know, maybe I'm in a higher class. Maybe I'll be able to perform at a higher level. I don't know. Like we're gonna find out. I'm gonna keep digging until I find the bottom of the hole.
Interesting. So with the way Sapateiro is doing the events now, the 205 and the heavyweight title are the only like super fight titles. The rest are going to be tournament titles, and I'm looking to get those things defended almost every 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
This is your first title defense.
Yeah.
Not looking past Tex at all because it's an unwinnable match for you. But are there any other competitors that you would like to down the line have a match with on Sapateiro? Because I am going to try to keep you a little bit more active, whether you're a champion or not.
I mean, if I beat Tex, I'm going to want matches against guys at Tex's level. Like, if I somehow win that match, like, if that's something that happens, and again, it's one of those things, like you just said, I need to not look past him because the reality is I'm probably not going to win. But if I beat him, at that point, there's a couple of names off the top of my head. Like, I've wanted a match with Jason Rao for a while. And I feel like that would be a good match. I feel like Jason Rao's a dangerous opponent for me that could beat me. That probably will beat me. But, like, that's a match that I want regardless of whether or not I beat Tex. I know he's a bit lighter than me. I don't know if he'd be willing to go up in weight. That's up to him. I mean, I understand. Then there's Andre Porfirio, depending on how he performs in your absolute. I mean, that's a name that I've been looking at for a while because he's, I think, the #1 ranked IBJJF brown belt. Or was for a while.
Yeah, he's a black belt now.
I really want a match against Roberto Jimenez. I think my style would give Roberto a lot of problems. I've rolled with him once, and honestly, like, just rolling, and I know that rolls are not a good indication, but just rolling in the gi, which is where he's much better, I did not feel like he was spectacularly better than me. Thank you, Robin. Thank you. But yeah, like I would say like those are two off the top of my head. And this is all due respect to the potential opponents. Like I'm not, believe me, I don't think I win any of those matches. But if I beat Tex, then who the fuck knows?
Cool. Well, I'm excited for the match. It's gonna be July. Or sorry, no, that's not July. That's the. Sorry, I've been thinking about Bays versus Kodiak for the last couple of days. That's probably gonna be in September. I'll have a date in the next couple of days and a poster out, and I'm excited for that match. Emil, anything else you want to say before I let you go?
I mean, one big thing is I'm hoping that like the Rona and like this whole situation makes people stop being such bitches. Like just in general, I feel like a lot of jiu-jitsu people have thanks, Quentin. That's a high praise, honestly. But I think that a lot of people like have unhealthy egos in this sport. I think a lot of people are really shitty in this sport. It's like it's interesting. In my preparation for the absolute, I've been getting together with a familiar face, Jacob Props, and another guy who trains locally in the area, another bigger brown belt, Jose Carrillo. And these are the two guys that prepared me for these events. And like we were talking about it. Oh, gold shower. Oh, when you earn a match with me, I'll give you a match. If not, accept my terms. Anyways, but yeah, like the thing is that, especially with training, I feel like there's a lot of disparity in the community. I think a lot of people have this like mindset of where they don't want to put anything on the line. They don't want to compete. They don't want to lose. and it's silly. And I think people should care less about the results of competition and care more about just competing.
Yeah, I'm hoping, and honestly, I started to see that too. Like the two things that I thought were going to come out of this Rona is one, the pay would go back down to a reasonable level for the competitors because it was very inflated for a long time, and two, the competitors were going to get more willing to compete. And I mean, we're fucking seeing that. People are going out there competing for less just because they got to take it for granted. Every athlete has a short period of time where they're able to compete at a somewhat high level, and the Rona has taken probably 6 months away from a lot of people. By the time this is all said and done, it's going to be 6 to 8 months that you're not going to get back in your ability to compete. So exactly like you said, more guys need to get their panties out of the wad. They just got to go out there and put it on and, have a good time with it.
Well, so, I mean, like the big thing for me, my hope is that people that see me take this match against Tex are inspired to take the unwinnable matches. Like, that's my hope. I mean, like, if I don't get anything else out of this, if I don't win the match or whatever, I just hope that people see it and are like, oh, he actually doesn't give a fuck. Like, I really don't. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to go out there and do my best. I'm not saying that like to be, what's it called? I'm not saying that to be like cheesy. It's just reality. I just don't fucking care.
Quentin's still waiting for a match because nobody wants a fucking match with him, and I'm not paying him a bunch of money to beat up blue belts.
I think that he should get a shot at that heavyweight title.
He could probably do that.
That's what I think. Yeah. I'd be rooting for that because he is your heavyweight champion.
He's the open weight tournament champion. Yeah, he was the last open weight tournament champion. Hey, I'd be happy to see him at heavyweight, but I honestly I think he's more of a 205er, and hopefully you lose this belt so I can have a more likable champion in Quentin at 205. All right, cool, Emil. Well, good talking to you, dude. Hopefully you stay safe during all this Corona stuff, and hopefully we see this match happen sooner rather than later. I'm looking at mid-September right now, and I'm going to have a couple dates for you and Tex here in the next couple days and a poster out there. So I'm excited, man.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity, man. Like, I mean that. It means the world to me.
It's going to mean the world to me when I see you break your leg in half.
I'm just going to tell you right now, one of my conditions in my rider for this match is going to be that you have to wear a Santa Claus hat.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
The full outfit.
Hey, that's cool. I'll give Quentin this match and let him get paid and strip you of your title. So there we go.
No, but like the other thing is, I've been trying, and I just want to put this out there because there's people watching. I think that you should use that cartoon picture that John Gunther drew of me.
No.
All right, man. Again, thank you. I mean it. Thank you.
This is the reason I give you these matches you can't win. This is the reason I'm giving you this match so I can see him break you in half for all these stupid things you put me through.
It's not nice.
All right, Emil. You stay safe, dude. I'll see you soon.
You too, man.
All right, that was Emil Fischer. He's taking on Tex Johnson for the Sapateiro 205 belt. It's going to happen in September. I'll put it out there because he's watching. If anybody wants a match with Quentin, let me know. And, I mean, I'm not just talking about nobodies because I'm not paying Quentin my hard-earned money to beat up nobodies. But if somebody with a little bit of a name, a little bit of notoriety wants a match with Quentin, let's fucking make it happen because he does need to get active again. All right, guys. Stay safe. Check out the sponsors, Nogi Nation, Liberty Ammo. Stay tuned for the Zapateiros. And I'm excited. I'm very excited. We're coming back, guys. All right, stay safe. I'll be back tomorrow with another guest.